Oh my gosh, thank you guys so much. Thank you. That was a lot of signing. My hand is strong like bull. You know, when you call my cell phone, I've got a new message on there talking about working out the biceps and having a fantastic day. Thank you guys for your patience. I apologize. I was, a lot of you were in there actually, just trying to sign, and I wanted to make sure that everyone was seen and that you had a good time. So thank you for your patience in there and also in here, because I know that, you know, sometimes this is their first convention, or sometimes this is the only convention that they go to all year. And so we want to make sure that everyone has a fantastic time, and so that no one feels left out. Because when I go to these conventions, all I see around me is a lot of positivity and awesomeness, and people, even people that I can't tell you how many times people have come up to get an autograph, and I'm like, oh, is this your buddy? And they're like, we just met in the line, and then they're best friends forever. And so it's really cool to see a lot of stuff like that. And so, and also, you know, you guys are wonderful, because this is the only August 16th weekend for 2015, and you guys are spending it here, and you're choosing to take your efforts, and you spend your time here, and you save up, and you book the hotels, and you book the flights, maybe some of you drive in, and you block off this weekend. So this is a very special weekend, as every convention weekend is, at least from my perspective, and so we want to make sure that you guys have the best time that you can. And so I thank you all for being so positive and so patient. So we've got about about half the panel left. So I'm going to skip the part where I bring out milk and cookies. So I apologize. They're cookies from Christmas, you know. Actually, one time I did do a panel recently. I did do a convention recently where I brought cupcakes for folks, but I didn't have time to make a cupcake run. Otherwise, I would have brought cupcakes. Because that's what everyone wants to do on their birthday, is bring other people gifts. But no, it was great. I was on the hunt for, someone was coming in the line. This was in Memphis. Memphis. And so someone came in the line that had a really cool shirt. And I was like, where did you get that shirt? And they're like, it's from this cupcake store. And I'm like, I totally want to get that shirt. And so they told me, and no one ever thinks I'm going to do the things that, like, because, you know, when I say things very quickly, people think that I don't log it or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go get that shirt. That's cool. Nice to see it. And I totally went on a hunt for that shirt. But when I got to the cupcake place, it was the last shirt of that kind, and it had been discontinued, and it was the only size left. I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram. There's that shirt, the blue one, where it's the cupcake shirt, the blue one, that's the shirt I'm talking about. So I'm on Instagram at Haberographer, if you are looking for that, Haberographer. And then on Twitter, if they had an internet connection in here, because this is like the dead zone of the convention, I was gonna like tweet with you guys. So I'm on Twitter at Todd Haberkon, and I was gonna do that for the panel, but we don't have internet in here, unfortunately, so we're not going to do that. But we'll do that later. Maybe we'll do that tonight. I don't know. Who knows? So, do you guys? I don't want to. If you guys have questions, I know that you guys had some questions in line. We couldn't get to them right away, and I am not going to be the bad guy. But you know what I would love? I would love it if Chris would pick who's going to ask the question. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure, mate. I'll do it for you.
Ooh, hey. All right, yes, right here. You're right there. Right there. So go for it. Yeah, I know. I recognize you. Yeah, so ask away.
Okay, so this...
Don't touch the microphone. I'm just kidding.
Actually, this is more of a theory of mine, and I told you it was going to be awkward.
Oh yeah, you said there was going to be an awkward question.
This is very awkward.
Sorry. That's okay. Hey, listen.
I came up with a theory because I watched a lot of anime that you were in, you know, and I noticed that your voice never changes much. So I came up with a theory. Once upon a time, you were 13 years old, there was a god. He came down from the heavens, and he said, Todd Haberkon, you are going to be a voice actor. Therefore, you may never reach puberty.
So you mean my voice doesn't change in the fact that I'm still a little boy? Because if you take the voice of Natalia, and then you go inside the Friday Tower, or you go to Death Kid with Symmetry, those are different voices. I think what you're talking about is the fact that I can call a telemarketer and they think that I'm a woman on the other end of it. That's what you're referring to. I just am eternally, I will never age.
You will never age.
Well, here's the thing about that. My mother is, you know, she is older than me, hopefully. When I can't go anywhere with her because they think she's like my woman. Because like when we interact, you know, you're very casual, you know, you're casual with your mom. You know, you're just hanging out with your mom. And so other people are like, look at that couple. They're just so in tune. They almost look alike. That's how in tune they are. I can't go anywhere with her. Everyone thinks my mom is my sugar mom. I don't like it. So, but you know what? It's okay because my mom never wants to do anything with me. Like I'll call her up and I'll be like, first of all, my mother is retired. Okay, she retired at a very young age because she did very well for herself. She was a doctor for many, many years and she's retired now. So you would think that mama's got time. Well, I'm like, hey mom, do you want to go to a movie? You want to go out to eat? Son, I don't have time for that, son. I'm like, you're retired. And she goes, well, I have to tend to my garden, son, and I have to do my mails. Like her mail, not like she has a room full of mails that she has. Like her mail, like that she gets in the mail. And
That you know of.
And she goes, I have a lot to do, son. And so, meanwhile, she goes to Morocco and Italy and like she travels all over the world. And I'm like, so you've got time for Italy, but you don't have time for Italy.
I love that. I knew you were going to say that.
So I don't ask my mom to hang out anymore. I go, I get enough rejection from casting directors. I don't need it from my mom. All right, next question.
Ready? You had a question? Yes.
All right. I know you do younger characters and also older characters, such as Rowan.
Oh, Rowan and Tales of Zilly, yeah.
Yes. Which one do you like to do more, younger or older voices?
Well, actually, I love doing older voices, such as Rowan from Tales of Zillia. And as I told you the other day, when I was reading 50 Shades of Grey, there is a sound file roaming around Burbank in one of the recording studios of me reading a chapter of 50 Shades of Grey involving very elusive beads.
So I like doing all kinds of characters. It's interesting that I often get called in to do the hero for shows or like the kid, you know, things like that. And so I'm happy to do them. It's always funny when I get cast to do an older voice, like an old man voice. When I did Pillars of Eternity, I did like 8 or 9 old man voices, and it's always interesting because the client, I'll walk in the room and I'll be like, hey! And the client's like, where's the old man? And I'm like, I'm ready to hop in there and do some recording. And so I hop in there and then we get rocking and then they see it. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I love doing all kinds of voices. Yes, very much. Let's see, where's our next one, Chris? Oh, there we go.
Well, actually, I've got a birthday present for you.
A birthday present? Oh, I'd love to see it.
Ooh, you guys, look at that, look at that. Being a kid helps too, like, I just want to give you something.
Thank you
course.
so much. My 19th birthday present. It's fantastic. I love Natsu. It's a very nice word. That. Thank you. Natsu and I have been together for 220 episodes. So we have been buddies for like 4 years. So this is very, very cool. I enjoyed this very much. Thank you for this present. You know what's funny is my mom, son, your birthday's coming up, son. And so my mom, does she get me any presents? No. There are 2 cruel things that happen in life. There are many cruel things that happen in life, like turning on the news and you're like, wow, what's happening in the world? Oh wait, nothing but Kardashian stuff. That's a cruel thing, so that's a bonus one. But the cruel things that happen in life are, 1, when you're a kid, we take naps all the time. And then your reward for surviving on this earth and making it through this existence is we take your naps away. No more naps in school.
No.
I remember taking naps in school is so fun, and then you get to a certain grade and they're like, we are done with naps, and you are too. And then another thing that happens is you get presents and you get birthday parties every year. And then at some point, they just stop. It's like you're being punished for continuing to be successful in life. The reward is no parties for you. And so, my mother who, I actually called her last year because I hadn't heard from her. It was like 4 in the afternoon. And I'm like, "Hi, Mom." And she goes, "Hello, son." And I'm like, "How you doing?" "Oh, it is a good, son. I'm tending to my garden." And I'm like, "Okay. You know what day it is?" "Yeah, it's Sunday, son." "You know what else happens on this day?" "Your birthday." I go, "Really? Were you thinking about calling me?" "Yes, son." I go, "Really? Because it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon." So what my mom does is she goes, "I'm going to take you out to a steak dinner, a really nice steak dinner." I don't really eat steak. So instead of saying, "Is there a place that you'd like to go?" she goes, "I'm taking you to this place, son, whether you want to or not." That's her present to me is dominance. And so I appreciate this present because it keeps me fierce. So thank you for this artwork. I'll leave the dominance to my mother. That will come tomorrow at some point. And you know what? I'm not even going to call her tomorrow. I'm going to see if she calls me. I'll find out. I'll let you guys know tomorrow, eh? Okay. Well, who's next, Chris? Yeah.
That'd be funny if she called you.
Okay, I know in White Irish you tried to convince Kirk to give you control of the ship. Did he ever give it to you?
I wanted control of the Enterprise from Captain Kirk. No, Vic, how many people have not seen Star Trek Continues? You don't even know what that is. Star Trek Continues, what is that?
No.
How many people have seen Star Trek Continues?
I've seen a little bit.
Oh my glob. That is awesome. So, for those of you that haven't seen Star Trek Continues, it is on YouTube, and for you only, this weekend, I will make YouTube free for you. So it's on YouTube. So you should check it out. Star Trek Continues. We have released 4 full episodes, and our 5th one debuts next month at Salt Lake City Comic-Con. Just to let you know some of the guest stars that we've had Colin Baker, the 6th Doctor. We've had Lou Ferrigno, who got green again for us. We've had the original, if you guys are a fan of the original series, we've had one of the original villains in the original series reprise his role like 40 years later. And he came back. We've got, just to let you know, we've got Grant Imahara from Mythbusters as our Sulu. We've got the original Scotty, his son is our Scotty. We've had Daniel Logan in it, who was little Boba Fett in episode 1 through 3. Just to give an example, so these episodes, Vic is Captain Kirk and he's the executive producer, and I play Spock, which is why my hair is long, because we're getting close to the shoot. And I have to keep it long so I can cut it, and in case the barber messes up, I need a little bit of room to maneuver. And so Rod Roddenberry, who is the son of Gene Roddenberry, they were at the Star Trek convention in Vegas this past weekend. And someone stood up and said, "Rod, do you think there's going to be another Star Trek TV series?" And he goes, "Actually, Star Trek Continues, to me, is the TV series that is continuing." And he says that, "I don't know, I can't speak for my dad, but he says my dad would consider what they're doing canon." And and then also Marina Sirtis is the voice of our computer, Deanna Troi. Michael Dorn, Worf, was the voice of the computer in one of the episodes. And so they stood up in their panels and said, "If you guys haven't seen Star Trek Continues, you got to check it out." So be sure to check out the episodes, because it would make me feel a lot better about being in the makeup chair for 2.5 hours a day at 3:30 in the morning, 2:30 in the morning, because it's a 3-hour time difference. So I am in that makeup chair for 2.5 hours in the morning, and then for an hour in the evening to get out of makeup for 10 days straight. And it's a lot of work. So we have the largest recreation of the Star Trek sets in the world. We have an 18,000 square foot facility. We're going to be the first web series to have a full planet set. So from the original series, we have the original blueprints from Desilu Studios, and our DP, who is also an architect major, has extrapolated the figures from that, and we created the sets exactly as they were laid out in the 60s. So you guys should definitely check it out. Vic, he knows Star Trek like nobody's business. So it's pretty cool. Chuck Huber is our Dr. McCoy. Yeah, so it's a lot of fun stuff. Next question.
All right, so my question is, what got you to be a voice actor?
What got me to be a voice? So for me, I just wanted to act. So I got my start in stage. I got my I got my start on stage, and then I went to film and television and so forth, and commercials, and modeling actually. I keep forgetting about that one because like I'm always uncomfortable. Like I'm uncomfortable in the front of the camera in that way, even though I've been naked on stage. And I have been, not for like I wasn't an exotic dancer, it was for a play. Yeah, I had to be completely naked on stage. Actually, so what happened with that show is like it was the world premiere of this play, and I was playing twins, not the twins that you guys are thinking of. And so one twin was like straight-laced and very like with it, the other twin was into drugs and crazy. And so there was, at the beginning of Act 2, I had to come out naked and do a quick monologue yelling at the actress who was in it with me. And so it's a thrust stage. So a thrust stage means that there's audience on 3 sides. So we've got 1, 2, 3. Well, a ton of people over here, a ton of people here. No one's on this side. There are 2 people on this side. That's it, 2 people. Those 2 people were my mom and my stepdad.
Oh my God.
And I had just started getting to know my stepdad at this point. And so after the show, he comes up and he goes, "Well, that was good." And I was like, "Oh yeah, did you like that too?" And so, but it was. So I've been naked on stage. So,
That's funny.
so I've done all of that. So. Voice acting came along, it found me. I didn't seek it out. I never sought out voice acting. I just never thought that I would do that. But when I was a kid, what's interesting, because I also do audiobooks, and I won several awards for audiobook narration for excellence, and I was nominated for an audio award this year. And so that's the equivalent of like the Grammys for audiobooks. And so when I was a kid, when I was like 11 or 12, I was always the kid that was called on to read in class. And so so I was made fun of for my voice for years. I remember these effing bullies that did that. Now I got into a lot of fights. I lost 2 fights. I won the other ones because I was just this big chunky kid. And so, yeah, I was a big boy. I ate everything. Anything that wasn't moving, I ate it. And so I was always called upon to read in class, and then my classmates would be like, "Wow, you should do that for a living one day. You should try that." I didn't even think about it. I was just like, "Oh yeah, okay." And so then years later, it's like, bam, I'm doing that and have been doing that for a living for a long time. So it just came to me, voice acting, and I'm glad it did. It's like E.T. He came to me. Oh, E.T. phone home. And so it's been a great career, and I've been very fortunate and very blessed and lucky. And it wasn't just, of course, it's many people help making micro decisions that help lift you up. And so it's never one person that gets to their goal. Like, it takes determination, and it takes hard work, but you never do it alone. And that's why it's great to have an awesome network of family and friends and coworkers around you that help lift you up. Because if you lift them up and they lift you up, we all rise. And that's the best way to be. Because it's too much effort to spend your time worrying about what others have that you don't. Because while you're worrying about what others have and you don't have that, you're wasting time when you could be trying to get those things. And that's a problem I had to overcome when I first moved out to LA. There were times when I was like, I was really frustrated because like I was looking at other peers and I'm like, man, they're doing this and this and this and I'm not doing that, and I got caught in a cycle. It was hard to break out of it. But then when I started to realize, like, I'm going to be the best me that I can be, and I'm going to mind my own business. That's saying to mind your own business, because you're running your business, and you got to believe in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, why should anyone else? So, for example, when you open up a Best Buy catalog, and you look, and they're like, we have the best prices on TVs, we have the best prices on speakers, our video games, we'll beat any price. Would you go there if they were like, our TVs are okay? We're not bad with our sales. But if you're like, man, I'm awesome, I am ready to rock it, then you are putting that programming into your brain. And you're programming yourself to be awesome. You can do that. And so that's what I had to do. And then it just kind of faded away. It was jealousy. It really kind of faded away. And it turned into more determination for myself to reach my goals. And so you make 1 year, 5 year, 10-year goals. And then I did that right out of college, and I hit those goals well before 10 years. And so then you set new goals. And it's all about the programming. It's all about, programming the good stuff in there. Because that's the best way to do it. I mean, why would you do it any other way? If you've got a choice between eating a bowl of marshmallows and eating a bowl of sardines, I'm gonna go bowl of marshmallows. That's the positive stuff, and just put that all in there. It's so good, then rot your teeth out. Let's see, what's the next question? Oh, there we go. Hi, hello, Samala. We meet again.
So I was wondering, what would it be like if Death the Kid met the Hitachi twins?
Oh, oh gosh.
I think it would be like, let's play it. Stop it. Let me just silently admire your symmetry. That's I think.
That would be funny.
Let's see, who's the next question here?
Also, want to see your fairy tale tattoo?
Oh, the fairy tale tattoo? Not bad. Fat kid got a tattoo. Well, I don't want to touch it up. So if you get it red, you got to touch it up more often.
True.
So I don't know about you, but I'm not a huge fan of getting a needle stabbed into me 1,000,000 times.
Yeah.
I just want to do it once.
Yes.
Of all the characters you have played, which one did you enjoy doing the most?
Well, if I'm gonna get needles stabbed into me 1,000,000 times, that better be my favorite.
Yeah.
So it's got to be Natsu, for sure. And also I think it's a little bit of like Stockholm syndrome because it's like I've been with him for so long. And it's like, oh, I guess I'm gonna love him.
Kind of gets
Probably can't do better than my man here. So look at his hair, look at how he dresses. It's so cute, it's so hot. And then like you fall in love with him, and then you guys are getting married, and then you're getting a place in Gold Coast in Brisbane, and you're retiring and walking on the beach every day. And then you look out into the water and you see someone walking towards you and it's a zombie, and you realize, wait, Natsu, you're a fire wizard. Zap that zombie, then you zap the zombie, but what it does is it spreads the zombie illness into the sea, and the whole world's infected. And then I have to suit up, and I have to become Glenn from Walking Dead, and Natsu take on the zombie apocalypse.
How do you come up with this stuff? Oh God, it's just brilliant.
I got 2 questions. And first off, thank you for being such a sweetheart and helping us get everything fine.
Oh my gosh, well thank you for being here. I appreciate that.
To see that smile on your face is worth it.
Oh my gosh, well listen, that was a lot of expensive dental work to get it. I remember when I was a kid, I had a tooth that was like that. I am not kidding. It took me 10 days to be able to eat solid foods after I got my braces on.
Oh.
And I brushed 3 times a day too.
My 2 questions is, what is your book, Half Yourself is about, and if you can talk about it, and have you ever considered making a vision board?
A vision board?
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting that you say that. A vision board. So a lot of Olympic athletes visualize their goals, going back to what we were talking about. They visualize this from happening, and they either can make it happen or not. That's essentially what my 1-year, 5-year, 10-year goals are, is visualizing those goals. And so I do that. I have these affirmation-y things that I do each day to help stay positive, because it's easy to get, and it's easy, when you start doing that, you start to notice the negativity around you, if that's in your world. You'll notice it or not. And then you start to shrug that off, and you don't become a part of that, and then you just stay positive. Yeah, everyone's got their downer days, but the more positive you can be, hey, that's great. As far as my book, so I was gonna have my book here ready to go, but what we're doing is I have a book called Haber Selfies coming out. And so, it's my first book. And so we have artists from conventions. I have all these different artists that I've found from conventions that I wanted to do artwork for it. And so they're working on it. And what it's about is I've taken a lot of selfies over the years, and it's key selfies that I've taken, put in book form, and me telling a little bit about where they came from and what they're about. Yeah. And so that's actually it should be available actually Anime California is the next convention I'll be at, I believe. Anime California, I'm going to be doing a concert there also. So if you guys have nothing to do and you've got 45 hours to sit in a car and drive to LA, you should come see the show. But there we go, road trip, that's right. I'll provide the cupcakes, right? Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so I have a question about Free. What was it like getting into the role as Haruka when you started the story in season 2? How was that?
Okay, so for Free, the show Free coming out, the swimming show, I actually didn't know about that show and I didn't actually audition for the show. I got a phone call. The director of production at Funimation called me up and said, we're working on this show called Free. Would you like to be Haru? And I said, Justin, that's a silly question. That's like saying, hey, I found a briefcase full of candy on the ground. Would you like it? And I just, absolutely, yes. And so we worked on the show. It was, everyone sounds fabulous in it. Johnny Bosch sounds great. Vic sounds awesome. Ian, Tatum, Ray, all of them. They all sound great. I'm okay. But no, we all sound really good. I'm really happy with how it's turning out. So we are doing both seasons. And I think season 2 might be coming out before season 1. I don't know, but it's a lot of fun. Woo. Yeah. Water. White t-shirt.
Why not?
Okay, so you said that you were in a play, and that got me thinking about theater. And do you like musical theater?
I got my start in musical theater.
You did?
And yeah.
And what is your favorite musical?
My favorite musical? Ooh. You know, I do love Phantom of the Opera.
Right on.
Can you picture Italy go, think of me, think of me. Once in a while, Germany promised me. I think of lots of things, and then I go to leave them now. That was Phantom of the Opera, but I got my start doing musical theater, and then I wrote plays, I did plays, I had my own theater company, I directed plays, directed Shakespeare shows. That's what drives it. That's what's so funny to me when you do these, when you go out for these commercials, for like, you know, hamburger commercials, or some commercial where it requires you to take a bite of something. And I was saying this the other day, it's like, all my years of stagecraft and working on these amazing plays and directing these shows and having a theater company and doing movies, it doesn't mean anything if you can't take a bite of a hamburger, probably. You know, so, but yeah, Phantom of the Opera, I love, I recently saw on Broadway A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder, which was a lot of fun. I've seen a ton of plays, but they're great. Oh, I like seeing plays. But I'm actually going back next week to Manhattan to record on some Pokemon, so I may go check out the show. Yeah. Hedwig and the Angry Inch is good. Yeah. When the youth was good. Okay, what's the next question? Oh my gosh, Girl Nazi, you were right. You told me you were going to do it. Very cool. You look great.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I absolutely love your tattoo. I did not know you had that, and I've been thinking of doing my own. I have to think about it for a little bit longer before I get it. But
yeah.
So my question is, the dubbed version of Fairy Tail is only to so many episodes right now, but the manga and the anime and regular is still going.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about if they're going to be continuing the dubbed version with your voice?
Well, I know I was just doing episode 217 Thursday.
You were?
Yeah.
Amazing then. I'm ecstatic.
Me too.
Me too.
I did not even know.
What has been the weirdest or creepiest con or fan happening or event? I forgot the word.
The creepiest fan interaction?
Yes.
You talking about? Well, here's the deal. I don't see these interactions as creepy. It's because you look at what's behind it. So when someone comes across and they may appear creepy on the outside, let's say they're holding some knife and it's got a little blood on it. That blood could have come from anywhere. I'm not going to immediately think, oh, guilty is charged, you know, innocent until proven guilty. Even when it's like 5 inches in me, I'm like, you know, maybe he was looking for something that he lost inside. So what I do is like, you take what they're doing and you're like, okay, what do they mean by this? They usually, 10 times out of 10 times out of 10, 100% of the time, they're just trying to tell you how much they like something, or how much they enjoy this thing that you did. That you know, we're in a box somewhere doing it, and then we don't know what they think about it until we have that experience. And so for me, it's not that it's creepy. There are odd things, but it's definitely coming from a good. They're coming from a good place. I've never really encountered, even when I've had stalkers and stuff. I've had stalkers, yeah. But it's still coming from a good place. It's just an unlawful place.
Two questions is, what is your book Haber Stuff is about, and if you can talk about it, and have you ever considered making a vision board?
A vision board?
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting that you say that. A vision board. So a lot of Olympic athletes visualize their goals. Going back to what we were talking about, they visualize this from happening, and they either can make it happen or not. That's essentially what my 1 year, 5 year, 10 year goals are, is visualizing those goals. And so I do that. I have, like, you know, these affirmation-y things that I do each day to help stay positive, because it's easy to get, and it's easy, when you start doing that, you start to notice the negativity around you, if that's in your world. You'll notice it or not. And then you start to shrug that off, and you don't become a part of that, you know, and then you just stay positive. Yeah, everyone's got their downer days, but the more positive you can be, hey, that's great. As far as my book, so I was gonna have my book here ready to go, but what we're doing is I have a book called Haber Selfies coming out. And so, it's my first book. And so, we have artists from conventions. I have all these different artists that I've found from conventions that I wanted to do artwork for it, and so they're working on it. And what it's about is I've taken a lot of selfies over the years, and it's key selfies that I've taken, put in book form, and me telling a little bit about where they came from and what they're about. Yeah, and so that's actually it should be available next. Actually, Anime California is the next convention I'll be at, I believe. Anime California. I'm going to be doing a concert there also. So if you guys have nothing to do and you've got 45 hours to sit in a car and drive to LA, you should come see the show. But there we go, road trip. That's right. I'll provide the cupcakes, right? Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so I have a question about Free. What was it like getting into the role as Haruka when you started the story in season 2? How was that?
Okay, so for Free, the show Free coming out, the swimming show, I actually didn't know about that show, and I didn't actually audition for the show. I got a phone call. The director of production at Funimation called me up and said, we're working on this show called Free. Would you like to be Haru? And I said, Justin, that's a silly question. That's like saying, hey, I found a briefcase full of candy on the ground. Would you like it? And I just, absolutely, yes. And so we worked on the show. It was, everyone sounds fabulous in it. Johnny Bosch sounds great. Vic sounds awesome. Ian, Tatum, Ray, all of them. They all sound great. I'm okay. But no, we all sound really good. I'm really happy with how it's turning out. So we are doing both seasons. And I think season 2 might be coming out before season 1. I don't know, but it's a lot of fun. Woo. Yeah. Water. White t-shirt.
Why not?
Okay, so you said that you were in a play, and that got me thinking about theater. And do you like musical theater?
I got my start in musical theater.
You did?
And yeah.
And what is your favorite musical?
My favorite musical? Ooh. You know, I do love Phantom of the Opera.
Right on.
Can you picture Italy go, think of me, think of me, as you say goodbye, once in a while, Germany promised me. I think of lots of things, and then I got to leave them now. That was Phantom of the Opera, but I got my start doing musical theater, and then I wrote plays, I did plays, I had my own theater company, I directed plays, directed Shakespeare shows. That's what drives it. That's what's so funny to me when you do these, when you go out for these commercials, for like, you know, hamburger commercials or some commercial where it requires you to take a bite of something. And I was saying this the other day, it's like all my years of stagecraft and working on these amazing plays and directing these shows and having a theater company and doing movies, it doesn't mean anything if you can't take a bite of a hamburger, probably. You know, so, but yeah, Phantom of the Opera, I love. I recently saw on Broadway A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder, which was a lot of fun. I've seen a ton of plays, but they're great. Well, I like seeing plays. But I'm actually going back next week to Manhattan to record on some Pokemon, so I may go check out the show. Yeah. Hedwig and the Angry Inch is good. Yeah. When the earth was good. Okay, what's the next question? Oh my gosh, Girl Nazi, you were right. You told me you were going to do it. Very cool. You look great.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I absolutely love your tattoo. I did not know you had that, and I've been thinking of doing my own. I have to think about it for a little bit longer before I get it. But
yeah.
So my question is, the dubbed version of Fairy Tale is only to so many episodes right now, but the manga and the anime and regular is still going.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about if they're going to be continuing the dubbed version with your voice?
Well, I know I was just doing episode 217 Thursday.
You were?
Yeah.
Amazing then. I'm ecstatic.
Me too.
Me too.
I did not even know.
What has been the weirdest or creepiest con or fan happening or event? I forgot the word.
The creepiest fan interaction?
Yes.
You're talking about? Well, here's the deal. I don't see these interactions as creepy. It's because you look at what's behind it. So when someone comes across and they may appear creepy on the outside, let's say they're holding some knife and it's got a little blood on it. That blood could have come from anywhere. I'm not going to immediately think, oh, guilty is charged, you know, innocent until proven guilty. Even when it's like 5 inches in me. I'm like, you know, maybe he was looking for something that he lost inside. So what I do is like, you take what they're doing and you're like, okay, what do they mean by this? That usually, 10 times out of 10, 100% of the time, they're just trying to tell you how much they like something, or how much they enjoy this thing that you did. That you know, we're in a box somewhere doing it, and then we don't know what they think about it until we have that experience. And so for me, it's not that it's creepy. There are odd things, but it's definitely coming from a good. They're coming from a good place. I've never really encountered, even when I've had stalkers and stuff. I've had stalkers, yeah. But it's still coming from a good place. It's just an unlawful place.
Yeah, this is the last question, sir.
Can we do one bonus one since I was late?
Yes.
Okay, one
so
bonus.
this is the penultimate question.
Yes. All right.
Can you please list your first, second, and third favorite ships off of Italia?
Okay. My first is Italy with Cat Italy. My second is Italy with any pasta. My third is Italy with rice ball Italy. There we go. Is this a good one? Is this a good question?
It better be, right?
Is this a fantastical, wondrous question that is better than eating a warm s'more? But you know. Okay, all right. So if I get this question, it's the same as getting Black Ops 3 a month before it's supposed to come out.
Oh my god.
Okay, well, one more. It's the same as getting the Juggernog edition of Black Ops 3. Okay, because I'm getting it, and I'm going to open it, and I'm going to think back to this. And if I'm not as happy here as I am when I open it, I'm going to come find you. And it's going to be 4 in the morning, and you think you're peacefully sleeping. And I'm going to be hovering right in front of your face.
That would be a great day. Great day.
And I'm going to have a remote control that is sharpened into a dagger. I'm going to put it right above your ear canal.
Oh my god.
There are worse ways to die.
That's true, there are worse ways to go. I just want a 10. Okay. Go ahead. What's your question?
True.
Oh, great, I'm nervous, okay. So you usually do protagonists and kids and stuff like that, but in Sword Art Online, you actually did a villain. So you
I was Oberon in Sword Art Online, yes.
Right, you actually successfully made me hate that character's guts. So I'm wondering, how do you get into that mindset for villain?
That's awesome. It's like you opened up Oberon, you're like, these guts, I hate them. For me, getting ready for intestines, gross, get them out of here. Your heart, I hate it. For me, getting ready for villains is the same as getting ready for any kind of protagonist. It's the same structure in the sense that you have to get behind what that character is about. What is their objective? What is their goal? And everything, they have other goals, but they all need to go to the main goal of what they want. And so when you look at it that way, every character's structure is the same. It's when the writing comes in and the given circumstances around the character that help inform and change that. But the structure is the same. You want to be truthful to that character. So I have to get behind his objectives and his MO, even if I don't agree with it. Like, so I have to love him in that moment. You know what I mean? And so earlier we were talking about how people like actors like being surprised when they're doing a show. They don't want to know too much about. See, I want to know everything because it's not my job to be surprised while I'm recording the show. That's not my job. My job is to give you the best performance so that you have the best experience. So I want to know what happens at the end so I can chart the journey of the character to get there. Because if I don't know what's happening, that's like driving with my eyes shut and hoping I get to the destination at the end, you know? So I need that. And so with Oberon, knowing where he's going helped me plot that journey to hopefully flesh it out and make it as layered as possible. But at the end of the day, that dude, he was a real sick SOB. So, yeah, groovy. Thank you so much.
Todd, thank you so much. Was it worth staying, everybody?
Yeah!
You were awesome. Thank you so much.
You are awesome.
We have a panel. Is that it today? Is there one more panel?
There's a panel in here right now, yes.
Oh,
yes,
there's a panel in
Power
here
Rangers.
Right. Oh my gosh, the Power Rangers?
Yes, here.
I love Power Rangers. Who doesn't love Power Rangers?
Woo!
You
Yeah!
love Power Rangers?
Yeah!
Everybody?
Yeah!
Oh my gosh. Okay,